I'm Gareth Wright. Gareth as in Gareth Beaumont of the Round Table, and Wright as in playwright. I've not published any work as of yet, and in fact, I'm gonna speak without the mic. I think I sound fun. I've not published any work as of yet. The people at the back can hear me as of yet, and I'm in fact not an established writer under any sort of ceremony. Hence, it may stand to reason as to questions of why I have the privilege to speak before the audience. And the truth is, I wonder why as well. Nonetheless, I shall attempt to entertain the audience as best as I am able. So this original short fiction of mine, I shall read today, is told entirely from the first-person perspective of a girl who has lost memories and is completely clueless of the past. Here, she's being looked after by her boyfriend, so to speak, with whom she lives, and is rather happy and content until she discovers something that for her...
Yeah, I think you better use the mic.
They can't hear me.
Yeah.
I shall just proceed to read the short story. This will be about a girl who has lost her memories and is completely clueless of the past. He had a fiancée. Her name was Ashley. Does not matter anymore. She's no longer around. He and I, we are together now. He strokes my hair and blows me a kiss before leaving for work every morning. The breakfast he makes of pancakes and coffee would usually have cooled off by the time I have crawled out of the sheets and showered. Kieran. He's a funny man, insisting on making breakfast for two of us, despite having all his servants around, and my dormant lackluster for getting up as early in the morning as he does. I should try harder to make time for him, since we really only get to see each other in the evening after he comes home from work. He's a plastic surgeon, and he works hard to look after me. The least I could do is share breakfast with him and see him off as he leaves the house for work at his clinic. Ha, broad chance. Sleep is glorious, as if I would give up on staying in bed if it means the death of me. My daily routine consists of surfing the web after breakfast, then either having the servants prepare lunch for me or grabbing nosh at one of the cafes in the city. The afternoon would be spent at my leisure, which I would habitually occupy in the gym room, shedding calories when I feel especially keen, or poring over some old volume in the library. Otherwise, I would be by myself on the chessboard or the clavichord, in the swimming pool on the roof, or entertaining myself with the odd miscellaneous hobby. However, there was always one thing I was never allowed to do, or rather, a part of the house that I have been refrained from ever entering. I've come to dub the place as the Forbidden Wing, although it's really just a single locked room. I've always wondered what sort of secrets could have been held behind that door, and had thought perhaps the room might have held the secrets, the answers behind my amnesia, as I could not remember anything since before I woke up in bed next to Kieran one morning so long ago. All efforts to besiege for access to the room has been met with frustration, however. Kieran would warn me of the putrid memories locked behind the door, memories of which could potentially jeopardize our relationship. He would say that he would show me into the room when he thought I was fully prepared for whatever was inside, and I had since held my trust in him. One particular afternoon, I felt especially intrepid after reading Oscar Wilde's The Birthday of the Infanta. As inscrutable as it is, I felt it was the withdrawal of completing a good story which evoked this wanderlust to fill the void sensation its completion had left, which in turn compelled me to explore this edifice of a house, which was soon to be my domicile, as it is my future husband's. The setting sun peered through the frosted windows as I tracked the halls, its gaze a vermilion hue casting sanguine rays along the hallways in disjointed bars like the rows of keys on a claviture. The tapestry of the Triumph of Venus has been removed from the wall for cleaning and was replaced with that of Nemesis, where the goddess who watched the demigod Narcissus as he voyeuristically admired his own reflection. A little further and there it was, the ominous, forlorn door to the forbidden room, which stood bulwark before me like an insurmountable sentinel, as foreboding as the most macabre night terror. My feet carried me to the door, and my palms grazed its smooth, flawless mahogany surface. The secrets which might have been hidden away behind the door had at the moment seemed so tantalizingly close. Yet my separation from whatever was behind the door was a mind-rending aggravation. Despite myself, I tried the brass knob and leaned my weight against the door in a slight push. The door did not even creak as it swung open. My mouth must have been as agape as the open doorway to the unfathomable darkness within. Treading lightly, I slipped into the room, gentle as I sealed the door behind me. I felt about the wall and found a light switch which I then tapped on. The fluorescent ceiling lamp in the middle of the room was caked with cobwebs and dust. It zapped and flickered before sustaining a dull, meager luminescence. The constant droning buzz emitted by the dilapidated lamp would fluctuate in volume, and would sporadically rise to a harsh, high-pitched screech which would momentarily drive distraught like shards into my ears. This room must have been once an art studio, judging from the tools and paintings strewn across the place. None of the pictures were framed, and many of them were snapped in half, pieces stacked over one another in small heaps. The pictures themselves were abstract and obscure waves of color, furiously scrawled mostly in reds and blacks. Some of them had their canvas lacerated, probably with a palette knife. The miasma of this room, from its dark ambience to its eerie contents, was beginning to chill my blood. Deeper into the room was an easel which stood solitary, and held upon it was a picture shrouded under a stained white drape. I pinched the drape at the corners, but despite my covert to investigate, I broke a cold sweat and simply could not pull it aside. My stomach turned as I reminded myself of my encroachment into this room, which I had been clearly instructed to never enter without Kieran's permission. And my vagrant mind began to fabricate untold terrors as of what I had imagined might have been concealed behind the shroud. However, my curiosity had gotten the better of me, and I had made it too far to leave empty-handed. But even as I steeled my nerves, I held my suspense in my breath, and my heart cantered with dread as I gingerly lifted the veil of the painting. In stark contrast to everything I've seen in the room so far, revealed to me was a most multitudinous portrait of a young woman. The faded white of her dress and her skin made her appear to glow against the black-washed background, like an outworldly, ethereal apparition. Could this be a painting of that Ashley person Kieran once told me about? I wiped the grime off her face with my handkerchief to have a better look. The face was mine. Did Kieran paint this? Who can tell? I could very well have had and not know it. How old even was this painting? I squinted as I looked harder at the woman in the picture. Was that really me? Sure, she looked identical to me, but that repose and that composure, somehow I had a peculiar feeling. More questions began to surface. Why had such a wonderful painting been sequestered away like this? Why has this been hidden away from me? What was up with the other paintings and the ramshackle state of this room? What was it that I had forgotten? Something simply did not add up. I studied the face in the painting, perusing meticulously every intricate detail. Even so, I kept finding my sailors being drawn towards the eyes. They somehow reminded me of something. a news coverage I found on the net a while back, not too long after I first remembered waking up next to Kieran. A girl in her 20s went missing. I could never forget how bitterly her parents wept as they pleaded plaintively for her safe return home. I remembered feeling cruelly familiar with the girl's parents, as if, inexplicably, I knew them somehow. What had in particular struck a chord with me about the girl, something which had branded themselves in my memory, were her lurid green eyes, green chartreuse eyes very much like mine, like those of the woman in the painting. There you are. My voice pounced, and caught itself against the constriction on my throat as Kieran startled me. I did not even hear him answer. Can't say I least expect to find you here. He was standing right behind me, his chest pressed against the small of my back. I remained catatonic as he placed his callous hands under my shirt onto my hips and slid them deftly down my waistline to my trousers. I could feel him breathing down my neck. I could not protect him. He stuttered as he undid my belt. But I am here now. I will never leave you again. You are safe here with me. The heft of Kieran's breath was hot against my ear as he addressed me by that name which is not mine, a name I will wear like an iron mask for the remainder of my life. Ashley. Thank you for your time.